In this video, we'll design the footer of our website. Let me show you what we would be building. This down here is the website footer. It consists of two sections and both of these have a different background color. The top section of the footer consists of 3 columns, while the bottom section contains only 1 column. If you resize the browser window, you'll see that the tablet view is similar to the desktop view. But if you reduce the width further, you'll notice that each column in the top section occupies 100% width. These buttons have an animation on mouse over. So let's start building this footer. We will create what is known as a template in Elementor and then apply that template to the footer of our website. Let's click on templates. At the moment, there is only one template called Default Kit, and we have already seen that in earlier videos. We'll add a new template and select footer as its type. You can specify any name that you want, but I'll simply call it footer. So whatever we design in this template will be shown as the footer on each page that we target in the display conditions later in this video. Click on Create Template. You can insert a ready-made layout from the template library if you want. But in our case, I'll close this because we want to design the footer from scratch. Let's start by adding a section with only 1 column inside. This section will serve as the outermost container that will contain 2 other sections for both the footer parts. I'll set content width to full width and select footer as the HTML tag. You can leave this to default, but having semantic HTML elements is always good for SEO. So let's select footer and have zeros for all margin and padding components. I'll do the same with the column. I do this because sometimes Elementor applies default margin and padding to elements. Setting these to 0 makes sure that you won't have any unwanted space in your design. Let's now add an inner section widget for the top portion of our footer and have 1200 pixels for its content width. I'll also set its margin and padding to 0. Since we want to have 3 columns in the upper section of the footer, let's add one more column by right-clicking the column handle and then selecting Add New Column. For the bottom section, we can add an inner section manually, like we just did for the top section. An alternate way is to right-click the handle on this already added inner section and then clicking Duplicate. What this has done is made a clone of the first inner section. All the styling applied to that section also remains preserved during this cloning process. Since we want the bottom inner section to have only 1 column, let's delete these 2 columns using the column handle. Just to make sure, this inner section also has 1200 pixels as the content width and has 0 as the margin and padding. Let's set the margin and padding for its column to 0 as well. For the first column in the top inner section, let's have a 10 pixel right margin and a padding of 0. For the second column, we'll have a 10 pixel margin on the right and left. And for the third column, we'll only have a left margin of 10 pixels. These margins will prevent the contents of these columns from sticking to each other. Since the footer looks the same on desktops and tablets, we'll apply the same margins on all these columns for tablet view as we did for the desktop view. In the mobile view, however, we want all these columns to occupy the full width. For the first column, we'll have only a bottom margin of 50 pixels that will separate it from the second column below it. We'll do the same for the second column, but the third column will not have any bottom margin. Let me show you a nice feature offered by Elementor. It's called the Navigator, and it basically is a navigation tree panel providing easy access to every element on the editor with just one click. It allows us to drag elements throughout the page and edit them quickly and easily. If I collapse all these nodes, you'll be able to see the structure of our footer clearly. We've got one main section to which we applied the footer HTML tag. Inside this section, we have one column, and it further contains two inner sections. As you click these elements inside the navigator, Elementor will highlight them on the canvas to help you identify and locate them easily. Inside the first inner section, we have three columns. And in the second inner section, we have only one column. Let me add a CSS class to the first inner section. The class will be called footer-top. I'll also add a class to the second inner section, footer-bottom. We'll use these classes to add custom styling to our footer using CSS later. The first inner section will have a 50 pixels padding at the top and bottom, and 20 pixels padding on the right and left. This 20 pixels padding will prevent the contents of the footer from sticking to the edge of the browser window. The second inner section will have a 30 pixels padding at the top and bottom, and 20 pixels padding on the right and left. Let's now add a background color to the first inner section. You can either select a color manually or you can click this globe icon to select a color from the global colors palette. If you remember, I added 7 colors to my global colors palette earlier. For the first inner section, I'll choose this color. Similarly, let's add a color to the second inner section. So, just to recap, we have an outer section with a content width set to full width and footer as the HTML tag. Its margin and padding have been set to 0. The only column inside this section also has its margin and padding set to 0. Inside this column, we have two inner sections. The content width of the first inner section has been set to 1200 pixels and its padding has been set to 50-20-50-20. We have added a class called footer-top to this inner section. The second inner section has its content width set to 1200 pixels and its padding has been set to 30-20-30-20, and it has class footer-bottom added to it. Both of these sections have different background colors added to them using our global colors palette. The first inner section has 3 columns, and if you look at the first column, no width has been specified for it. The other 2 columns also do not have any widths specified. This will result in all these 3 columns occupying equal widths across the total browser width. Review the margins specified for each of these columns. On tablets too, we want these columns to occupy equal widths and to have the same margins as on desktops. However, on mobiles, we want each of these columns to occupy 100% of the browser width. So let's specify 100 as the column width. Also review the margins and paddings on each column in the mobile view. The reason we don't have any bottom margin for the third column is that we have already specified a bottom padding of 50 pixels on the enclosing inner section. So there is no need to specify an extra 50 pixels bottom margin for the third column in the mobile view. The space that you see here on the left and also on the right is because we have specified a padding of 20 pixels on the left and right of the inner section. Let's quickly review the styling that we have applied to the second inner section and the column inside it. Let's publish this template and see how our footer looks on the front end. When you click publish, Elementor shows this dialog asking where do we want to display this template. You can have a combination of several conditions, but in this case, we want the footer to be displayed on the entire site. So let's click on add condition, select entire site, and then click on save and close. I'll exit to dashboard and open the front end of the site. As you can see, the footer template has been loaded successfully. We don't have any content inside the 2 inner sections, but the footer is being shown and it goes to show that the template has loaded successfully. Let's see what do we want in the first inner section. I'll start with these headings. To begin with, I'll add a heading to the first column. I'll select H4 tag for this and have about the course as the title. Center align this. The color of this heading would be white. The font size would be 18 pixels. Let's select 700 as the font weight and uppercase as the text transform. I'll also add a letter spacing of 1 to this heading. On tablets, let's go with a font size of 18 pixels. Transform would again be uppercase, and I leave the letter spacing field empty to inherit the value from what we specified for desktops. On mobiles, I'll have a font size of 17 pixels. Hit update and let's quickly copy and paste this heading into the other 2 columns as well. The title of the second heading would be Connect. And the title of the third heading would be One-to-One Clarity Session. Let's update and refresh the front end. The headings look perfect. We now have some text below these headings in all the three columns. Let's add a text editor widget below the heading in the first column. I'll select white color for it and also center align the text. Let's go with a font size of 16 pixels on all three screen sizes. I will now quickly copy this widget in the other two columns below the headings. For the actual text in all these three text editor widgets, I will copy that from our template website. Let me quickly do this for the other two columns as well. I'll hit update and refresh the front end of our site. Looks great. Below this text, we have a button in the first and third column and some social icons in the second column. I'll head over to our website and add a button below the text in the first column. Let's have view as its text and I'll copy the URL from here. Center align the button and have 14 pixels for the font size. I'll go with a font weight of 700 and uppercase as the text transform. Let's also have a letter spacing of 0.5 and a line height of 1.7 em. If you notice, we currently have a different background color for the hover state. But I want this button to have the same color for the normal and hover states. So I'll select a background color for the normal state and the hover state will also inherit the same color. However, what I want to do in the hover state is to have an animation. I'll select float as the hover animation. So when you hover your mouse over the button now, you will notice this nice animation. I'll copy this button and paste it into the third column as well. This button will have book your slot as the text. I'll copy its URL from here. Hit update and refresh the front end of the site. So we now have these buttons in the footer. Next, we want to have social icons below the text in the second column. I'll search for the social icons widget and add it to the second column. I don't want Twitter and YouTube. Instead, I'll include the icons for Instagram and LinkedIn. I'll enter the URL for the Facebook icon. And under link options, I'll keep open in new window checked and also check the box that says add nofollow. Nofollow links have their importance in search engine optimization, and we'll definitely discuss them in a future bonus video. For now, please check this box. I'll do the same for Instagram and LinkedIn icons. I'll select square as the shape and then move on to the style tab. I want custom colors for these icons and will select this global color for the primary color and white for the secondary color. I'll go with a size of 30 pixels and with a spacing of 10 pixels around the icons and have 0 as the padding. Hit update and refresh the front end of the site. So we have icons in the footer. Clicking them opens the page in a new tab as we wanted. The top portion of the footer is now complete. And if you compare what we've built with our template website, you'll notice that they both look identical. Let's now start with the bottom inner section. We have text in the only column that we have inside this inner section. So I'll add a text editor widget. Center align the text. Have white color for it. And then have a font size of 16 pixels on desktops and tablets. And 15 pixels on mobiles. Let me copy this text from the template website and paste it into the text editor widget. I'll replace the copyright symbol with its corresponding HTML character entity, ampersand copy semicolon. We'll discuss HTML character entities in bonus videos. I want to have the name of my company to behave as a hyperlink. So I'll wrap this with an anchor tag and put the URL of my company's site in the href attribute of this anchor tag. I will also have a target of _blank to open the website in a new window. After this text, I'll insert a pipe symbol and have the other two hyperlinks for privacy policy and terms of service. I'll copy the URLs of these two pages by going to the WP admin. Hit update and refresh the front end of the site. You'll notice that the hyperlinks are not visible. They are actually there, but their color is the same as the background color. If you hover over the links, they turn yellow. If you remember, this actually is the color scheme we had specified for the links in Astra's global settings. Let me open Theme Customizer. I'll click on Global, Colors, and then Base Colors, See, we specified this blue color for the links and yellow color for their hover state. We need to override these color settings using CSS. We had set this CSS class for the bottom inner section earlier in this video, and we'll use this to apply styles to our hyperlinks in this inner section. Open your style.css file. If you don't have it on your computer, you'll need to download it from your web server through FileZilla. At the bottom of the file, I'll insert the CSS comment and then target my hyperlinks inside the bottom inner section using this selector. This CSS selector targets all anchor tags inside the section that has the class footer-bottom applied to it. I'll use the color property and set its value to white using the hexadecimal notation. Save the file and upload it to the web server. I'll hold down Shift key and hit the reload button. You can now see we now have the links in white color. If you hover your mouse over the links, you'll notice that they stay white in color because of the CSS style that we just applied. However, I want these links to be underlined on mouse hover. For that, I'll use the hover pseudo class for the anchor tag and have text decoration property set to underline. Let's upload the CSS file again to the web server and hit reload. Well, nothing happened. Let's try it again. Nope. I'll clear the cache and then hold down my Shift key on the keyboard and hit the reload button. There you go. Our links now get underlined on mouse hover. The links are working perfectly and the footer looks great. If you resize the browser window, the columns look the way we wanted. Let us discuss one last thing before ending this video. If I select this text in our template website, you'll see that the background color of the selected text is blue, while that of the text itself is white. However, in our website, when we select this text, the background color of the text is blue, which is because of the theme color we set in Astra's global settings. But the text color is not white. Well, in order to fix this, we need to make use of CSS. I'll scroll all the way to the top of the file and paste some CSS code. The : selection selector matches the portion of an element that is selected by a user. We have applied a blue background to the selected text and white color to the text itself. I'll save this file and upload it to the web server. Clear the cache and reload again. There you have it. Our selected text now looks the way we wanted it to. I'll add a CSS comment at the top to keep my CSS styles organized properly. I'll call this miscellaneous. Save it and upload it to the web server. So our footer is ready. We have included several widgets like headings, text editors, buttons, and social icons in the footer. And it looks the same on each and every page of the website. See you in the next video.